Let's jump into to Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I've heard, and I've shared this with you, that I have people, honestly, that love God. They're Christians, and back during COVID, I was a little bit critical, and I was warning people about Bill Gates going back into 2021. And people shared, Mondo, I don't understand why you would be critical. Him and his wife, they're so loving. They're helping the world. They're in Africa. They're helping with vaccines, and you're like, they're also one of the biggest providers of abortion in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bill Gates, am I misunderstanding him? Is he really just a wonderful, loving guy? In your deep dive, what'd you find out?
Yeah, no, that's, and you're going to see with every one of these global elites, they got not millions, but billions of dollars, and they literally pay the media off to create a persona of them that dupes people to get them to think that they're a nice guy when they're not. It's a smokescreen. And in the case of Bill Gates, the smokescreen that he still to this day right now is paying for by the media, not just in America, but around the world, is he's just kind of like he's kind of a techie, nerdy guy.
Yeah.
But he's a tech genius. And he's demonstrated that through Microsoft.
Just loves people.
And he's such a wonderful guy, Mondo, that he is now retired from that. And he's using his billions and billions of dollars to help the planet. Him and his ex-wife.
That's creepy.
Why did she become the ex-wife? We'll get to that in a second. But this guy is far from that. And something I learned in biblical counseling in seminary, and it was the phrase that Dr. Couch used to say all the time, if you want to know the man, know the history. And so I said, okay, I want to know about Bill Gates. So I dug into his history beyond the smokescreen.
Surfacey, smokescreen.
Who is this guy? What really drives him? And the two things that came out was, believe it or not, every decision he makes, still to this day, even during the pandemic, it's all about making money and murdering people. And the murder aspect came in when you understand his background, that his dad, as you mentioned the abortion issue, his dad was head of Planned Parenthood. It's on tape. Bill admits it. And Planned Parenthood is one of the biggest depopulation techniques to rid the planet of what they say is too many people. And then so we expose that that's not true in itself. Even if it was true, you don't go murder people. And plus, if these guys were true altruists about being believers that were overpopulated, all right, let's start with your family. But no, it's always somebody else's family, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
So, but it's a lie. And we demonstrate depopulation is a lie. And we're actually in a population collapse is the trajectory that we're headed on the actual research that's out there. But they use that as an excuse to get rid of people. And so he was brainwashed with that or bought into it or whatever, however you want to say it. But he was brought up in that environment with Planned Parenthood that there's too many people and we need to start in the womb and kill them. He's just gone outside the womb. With all his ventures, every single one of them, he's going to make money and he's going to murder people. So there is that background with Bill Gates, and that's what he's been up to when he left Microsoft. And he started the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The other thing we know he's about making money, and the way he makes money is he creates monopolies. And that's not hyperbole. This is why he was taken to task by the U.S. government back in the day.
Yeah,
because that's how he made his money. He made monopolies off of Microsoft.
Yep, he got
and that was
up.
the only software that you could use on any computer.
Search engines, all of it. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so he got in trouble for that, but he still got away with it, and he's still doing it. But that's his modus operandi. He finds an industry that he can invest his money in, not for philanthropic reasons. Oh, no. It's so he can create a monopoly off of it, and then at the same time, it will also help him kill people. And so we demonstrate this. Let me get in his background first. Bill Gates is not some nice guy. Bill Gates, not only with the Planned Parenthood, I want to kill off people. That's bad enough as it is. But there's many secular accounts of him being basically a sexual pervert, including back in the Microsoft days. And this is in print.
That's why his wife left him.
And then, of course, now we all know, but nobody seems to talk about it much because, again, he pays the media off. Even if it comes out, he quickly pays it to reverse it and repaint his image again. And with his ties with Jeffrey Epstein, long-term ties. In fact, we even have an interview on tape. His ex-wife now, Melinda, admitted that was part of the reason why she divorced him. She said she knew about it for a while. She wanted to meet him. She said that was the worst thing I ever did. She said
because she met Epstein.
She met him, and he was the evilest person ever. And she said anyway. So Bill Gates is not this innocent guy. But even with her, there was a strange, and this is in print and on tape. they had a weird marriage period because Melinda agreed. Bill had an agreement with her that once a year he got to go shack up a weekend with his ex-girlfriend. And apparently she agreed to it. I'm going, what marriage would do that? So this guy is frankly a pervert, sexually immoral. He wants to kill people. That's the real Bill Gates.
Greedy, yeah.
Right? So let's go back and apply, know the history, know the man. He wants to create a monopoly to make money, and he wants to murder people. All right, let's go into the food industry. Is Bill Gates a food expert? Is he a nutritionist? Have you seen pictures of him? He better change his diet.
Right.
Right? But so why is he so concerned? Because he's going to create a monopoly, and at the same time, it's going to murder people. Bill Gates is buying up farmland that is not to help farmers, it's to restrict farming. And he wants to restrict farming of crops and livestock, the two things we eat, because he's come out with his monopoly called fake meat.
Fake meat, yeah.
Right? So he's creating a monopoly. So I'm going to decrease.
And he gets he gets the government to go along with all the eco stuff, and then he gets subsidized.
Right, because he buys out the governments. And this is around the world, not just the United States. And so he gets them under the lie of climate change to go along. That becomes the excuse.
Yep.
So we have to get rid of the old paradigm so that we can create a new paradigm. Well, who owns the new paradigm? Who owns the new food supply? Bill Gates. So what's he going to do? He's going to force people to go to his new monopoly called fake meat, right? And not just fake meat. He's also big into the seed industry.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this until I knew about this, but I didn't know he was behind it until I did the deep dive. The Svalbard Seed Project. Bill Gates funded that. And that's the quote, Noah's Ark of seeds that is storing all the seeds. Why? Because they're genetically modifying the seeds. And one of the things they're doing with the seeds is called the Terminator gene, where the seed, that's why husbandry and farming that are biblical, by the way, are the two industries that self-replicate.
Yeah.
Right? And that you could be self-sufficient. You raise animals, livestock. Well, don't kill them all. You save some for the next future livestock. You raise crops. What do seeds do? Save back some to produce because seeds produce eventually more seeds.
Yeah, for the next
It's
season.
perfect, God's design. So they figured out a way to genetically modify animals and genetically modify seeds. It's called the Terminator gene, to where the seed doesn't produce another seed. It's one and done.
You have to go back to
So
them.
bingo, you got it?
Yep.
So he's behind the scenes doing all this stuff. So what he's doing is he's getting rid of the traditional food supply methodologies. He's coming up with his new ones. And guess who owns the patents? He does.
Yep. And under the claim that they're 10 times more productive, and look at this, we're solving. No, you're controlling.
You're controlling.
the future.
Why? Because he's going to make bank. Because this is on global. You're controlling the global food supply. But what's his other motive? Murder people. So is his fake meat and genetically modified meat and genetically modified seeds, are they good for you? No. And we demonstrate that even just the meat is made from cancerous tumor cells. That's not a joke, Mondo. That's in print. Even secular people are bringing it out. I'm sorry. If you replicate so-called meat with cancer in it, I'm not going to eat that.
I'm not going to eat that.
But see, he's going to force you into eating.
Yeah.
He's even taken over the water supply so that he can now give you his new Bill Gates, and I'm not making this, not feces water. That's the nicest way I can say it. He's taken human waste, and he's got this invention that he's backed that creates water out of human waste. You going to drink that? I ain't going to drink that.
No.
But that's what he's doing. But what does it do? It's his two motives for everything he does: make money, murder people.
Well, and it goes along with, again, the Antichrist kingdom, in that we've seen, and you've documented it with Klaus Schwab and others, where they say, well, you get this amount of real meat per year, maybe, a couple steaks a month, maybe if you're lucky, because the cows are producing, methane, and blah, blah, blah. And so it's interesting how it all comes together. I want to switch for a moment because I don't want to leave him out in the last few minutes, is George Soros. Most people don't know much about him because he kind of stays a little bit in the shadows. The average person wouldn't really know. I've heard of the guy. Bill Gates is different. But you spend some time on George Soros as being one of these elites that is contributing to the Antichrist kingdom. Yeah,
George Soros, you should know about him because he right now he is responsible for getting his fingers involved in manipulating 120 plus countries. This guy, and who is he? He's not an elected official, but that's what he's doing with his money and power. And he did the same thing Bill Gates did. After he made his billions, he set up a shell company to do the dirty, evil deeds. That's the smokescreen. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a smokescreen for Bill Gates to make money and murder people. George Soros, he makes money and controls people, is his two motives, and he set it up under the Open Society Foundation. Well, that's all it is. And all he does is go and manipulate countries, governments, media, educational systems, and it's all designed to make money. And one of his modus of operandi is he goes in and purposely causes chaos in countries. Why? Because it has an effect on certain markets, and so it drives the market down. And then when it's way down, because he caused it to go down with his paid riots and paid agendas and paid this, then he jumps in, buys it, and then he halts it. It goes back up. He sells it off. He makes bank. And this is the carbon copy. And not only that, he also is a huge investor in things that not just causing suffering in the market, causing suffering in people. He's a huge supporter of drugs and not just marijuana. He is a huge supporter to try to get legalized. He's paying off people to do this with, I'm not joking, even heroin and cocaine. He wants all that legalized. You know why? Because he's invested in people that are going to start to manufacture that, and he's going to make bank. And we're not talking millions, we're talking billions of dollars. And then you're like, well, why would he be so callous that he would, who cares how much suffering I cause as long as I'm okay and I get money? You go back to his history. George Soros, his real name is George Schwartz. He's a Jew. And he turned on his own people. And this is on tape, Mondo. We got this on. It was an archive. It's like, man, I think this is in the 70s. When was this? This is crazy. And but he admitted that he and his family in World War II escaped the Nazis as a Jewish family by lying about their identity. They claimed to be Christians to escape while their fellow brothers and sisters, Jewish people, were taken out.
Change your name.
And then bad enough, well, on top of that, he admitted that he, with his new identity, actually helped the Nazis as a teenager to confiscate the property of his fellow Jewish people. And he was actually asked, this is on tape, doesn't that bother you? Don't you feel any remorse for that? He said, no. He literally says, just look, no. And then he states, I'm here to make money. And he admits that upbringing is what, quote, shaped his character. So you want to know what George Schwartz is really up to? Just as he turned on his own fellow Jewish people, he doesn't care about their suffering. He's here to make money. On the backs of suffering, deceit, manipulation, he doesn't care. And Mondo, once you get that, it explains everything he's up to, even still to this day.
And you know what's interesting is that he's in his mid-90s now. He's on death's door, but he's appointed his son.
Bingo.
And so that whole mentality, and I've read that his son is worse.
Not only is worse, we've got him on tape saying he's going to take it to a worse level. That you thought my dad was liberal and leftist and causing chaos in all these different countries to make money. You ain't seen nothing yet. That's his son, Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
And that's the point we're bringing. We're like, whew, man, he's getting up there in age. I mean, we're going to put up this guy much longer.
Yeah.
Not so. They have a backup plan.